Rahul Gandhi will not go to jail for now, but he's still not a member of parliament. I'm Barkha Dutt. You're with the Mojo story. Our focus today, the big political story. Rahul Gandhi, accompanied by his sister and key Congress leaders, finally filed an appeal in a Surat Court against his conviction in a criminal defamation case for a speech in which he had linked the Modi surname to corruption. The court, while suspending the sentence and giving Rahul Gandhi bail, has not yet offered any interim suspension of the conviction. That's what Rahul Gandhi would have needed to go back to the Lok Sabha Secretariat and say, reinstate me as a member of parliament. Meanwhile, this is not the only case that Mr. Gandhi has to deal with. The Patna court has also issued summons in the same case, and there are at least 8 cases and counting, similar cases of criminal defamation pending across India. Lalit Modi is now threatening to file a case from the United Kingdom. As we look at the politics of this, the opposition is continuing its protests in parliament. The Prime Minister has made a sharp statement in the last 24 hours, suggesting that there are some people who have taken a Supari out just to discredit him since 2014. The Prime Minister, in his comments, said some of these people are in India and some of them live outside India. In the run up to 2024, politics is beginning to heat up. It's not yet clear what the political impact of the Rahul Gandhi disqualification will be. In the meantime, the Aam Aadmi Party oddly has started also targeting the Prime Minister personally, something that it used to avoid as a political strategy earlier. To discuss this and more, let's introduce our guests on the program today. If we can bring them up, Radhika Ramasheshan, veteran journalist and columnist, is with us. Welcome back, Radhika. Also joining us on the program is Abhas Maldehar, author and columnist. It's good to see you, Abhas ji. Also joining us on the program, Sanjay Jha, who is, of course, a Congress supporter and used to be with a spokesperson of the party till the party decided not to keep him in that role. That hasn't dimmed his enthusiasm for his party. Also joining us is Gopal Agarwal. Gopal Krishna Agarwal is, of course, a veteran leader of the BJP and a national spokesperson of the party. Good to see you, Gopal ji. And also joining us is Rahul Dev, veteran editor and columnist and journalist. Thank you very much, all of you. Let me start with you, Gopal ji, if I can. Surat ke court say there is a temporary relief for Rahul Gandhi, but nothing that actually changes the disqualification. Meanwhile, another case has come from Patna, and this time it's a BJP leader, Sushil Modi, who has filed that petition. The summons have been issued. Do you not think that this will add weight to the Congress allegation that the BJP is somehow behind all this? So this is not the law or the courts. When a BJP leader files a petition, then the BJP is actively pursuing the disqualification of Rahul Gandhi. How do you react, Gopalji?
No, one thing I would like to say, why BJP should not pursue, why BJP leaders should not pursue is the question that I would like to ask. When there has been continuous statement like this by Rahul Gandhi, he has been undermining Indian Parliament, he has been undermining every institution, election commission, court, everything. And the whole Congress party is now pressurizing on one person's issues. There was ample scope for Rahul Gandhi to say when the court said that do you feel sorry for your statement? He had all the space and the legal position to take at that point of time, but still he chose to do this, undermine the whole institutions. So the issue is the BJP is also a part of the whole structure of the country. They also feel that this is not the right way which is being done by the Congress leader, and therefore if they feel bad about an issue, bad about, we have been fighting for the strength of the OBC, we have been fighting for the betterment of Dalit community, all the backward classes, and this is not the first time. So we think the party has been holding press conferences, everything, that this is not right, he should not do like this, he should not give false statement, he should respect the institutions. But when the party or the individual acts that he is beyond the law of the land, he is beyond everything, so then BJP has every right to raise the issue. But ultimately the decision is of the court.
Yes, Gopalji, does that mean that the BJP politically, your political position is that you believe Rahul Gandhi deserves to remain disqualified?
No, the issue is he has been charged of an offense which is under the law of the land, is punishable, and he has been punished for that, and the laws of the land says that he has to be disqualified. It is no depending upon what BJP feels or does or tries to do. It is the law of the land, and the law is there, and that the law should take its own course. So, if why I would ask a counter question: if the law of the land says that Rahul Gandhi, if convicted for 2 years, is disqualified automatically, why he should not be disqualified?
Right. And I think that's a good question. And let me add a political question to it as I go to Sanjay Jha. Sanjay, there's partial relief from the Surat court, and it's going to take a while. And you know what? It's not going to end with Surat. There is a summons from Patna. There could be a summons that comes in from 7 other courts. Rahul Gandhi probably will have to go to the Supreme Court and say, at least club all my cases. There has been mysterious delay of 8 to 9 days in even filing this appeal, which befuddles me. It makes me wonder if Rahul Gandhi was actually contemplating a stint in jail, and maybe he thought that maybe that would be sort of politically more powerful. My question is this: in an election year, can Rahul Gandhi afford to get distracted and entangled in a web of legal cases? Let me remind you of another politician, Arvind Kejriwal. Multiple defamation cases, cut his losses, said sorry to everybody, and is carrying on. Do you think you should be doing that?
Barkha, first and foremost, in politics, everyone multitasks. Rahul
Hmm.
Gandhi faces a defamation case. The Karnataka elections are on. There are developments in Maharashtra. The AICC, I'm sure, is doing its own number. In politics, you are never actually hijacked or made hostage to one event. Although I will agree that Rahul Gandhi, being a central figure of the Congress, will get disproportionate media attention. But trust me, if you go to Karnataka right now, everybody there is looking at how to win an election there in the state. So that's point number
Hmm.
one. Point number two is that it's let's not, we are all adults here on the program. I have very high respect for all the panelists, including Mr. Gopal Krishna Agarwal. And I will make this point here that these are complaints made by BJP leaders. And I'm not going to get into the technicalities of the case because it is already out in the open. But truth be said, the sequence of events, his disqualification, being asked to leave from home, there are many. It's not just eyebrows being raised. I think everyone is going like bending over backwards to
Yes, but
understand.
as Gopalji said, they're political opponents. Why would they not? Why would you
Well,
expect the BJP to now look out for Rahul Gandhi's interests?
well, I'll tell you what the BJP has unfortunately unleashed. It has unleashed a culture of political vendetta that I can promise you is now only going to escalate whenever the BJP goes out of power. It's a very ruthless and, in my opinion, a self-destructive game for India's political ecosystem. In simple terms, as the lawyer for Mr. Rahul Gandhi stated, it all appears to be like a wild, imaginative fabrication to assume that the name Modi belongs to a community. Now, Barka, you have read the reports, so have
Mhm.
I. Modi is not a community. I let Mr. Gopal Krishna Agarwal contradict me if he has the courage of his convictions. Aren't there Muslims who are Modis? Aren't there Banyas who are Modis? Aren't there Parsis who are Modis? By the way, the central list of OBCs doesn't have a Modi as a community. It's the surname. So therefore, the entire effort, the moment Rahul Gandhi lambasts Narendra Modi on Gautam Adani issue, I think Gopal Krishna Agarwal's party has been sweating buckets. And I can tell you this for a fact: Rahul Gandhi has got under the skin of the BJP, which in politics, in my opinion, is a wonderful, shall we say, progress report. Because when
Mhm.
your opponent is so rattled, you should see the tweets of Kiran Rijiju today. He, in fact, was very upset that Rahul Gandhi went to Surat. That tells you of the panic within this party. And I can tell you, Barkha, from my experience, you have been covering media and politics for a longer time. The moment an opponent gets so nervous as to make the adversary into the agenda, I think has advantage Congress and Rahul Gandhi. They should start by leveraging Karnataka as an electoral triumph. And I think the entire momentum for 2024 will be built.
Okay, those are the tweets of the law minister that Sanjay Jha referenced. Gopalji, very briefly, I want to go to Radhika and Abhas. But this idea that it suits the BJP to keep Rahul Gandhi in the news. Sanjay Jha interprets that as an advantage. There are others who say that actually the BJP would like nothing better than the 2024 narrative to be Modi versus Rahul, because in that narrative, it's always the BJP that gains. And hence the singular focus on Rahul Gandhi. What else explains it, Gopalji?
Parkaji, we have to understand two, three things. When we debate anything, we have to just identify the premises. Are we in the country as a whole saying that our institutions like judiciary, everything are not independent? Are our institutions not working in the field of democracy and not upholding the democratic rights? So if we agree, if we say that, then it's a different level of debate. But if we have to accept that if our democracy is vibrant, we are working in a democratic institutions, which has not been formulated by BJP or us or Modi ji or anything. We have inherited many of the institutions. We take pride in those institutions. So if we have to see that, so they are the torchbearer who can decide on an issue. If they have decided on an issue, how we politically handle that issue is a different thing. BJP has handled in a way, some people may say that we are doing it, we are playing into the hand of Rahul Gandhi or the Congress, or we are not getting into the right narration. As Sanjay ji says, that we have been rattled, etc. All these things are a political understanding of the BJP, that we will take care of how to deal with them or how we are dealing with them. But as a debate on the channel or anywhere, we have to first respect that our institutions are independent,
Okay.
and they are upholding the democratic values.
Okay.
And
Okay. Now,
it is the Congress. Just 10-second more. If you look into the history, the worst institutional derailment has been done by Indira Gandhi. She had undermined every institution. So Congress taking a high moral ground is nothing. Even
yes.
if you look into the parliamentary democracy, the whole 370 was administered as an
Okay.
administrative.
Let
So
let
how
me.
संविधान की बातें करना, ये करना, the mockery by Congress.
I take
Emergency,
I I take
yeah,
your point about the emergency, about suspension of state governments. All of this is on record. It belongs to the long checkered history of the Congress.
yeah.
In fact, Indira Gandhi herself was
And
disqualified
still
by
they
the
are
Allahabad.
saying that Rahul Gandhi and Gandhi family is above every law of the land. The
Okay,
whole
let's
mindset that we are fighting is
let
how
me
you
jump in.
claim to be above the land of the law.
Okay, let me come in now.
That is
Since
the
the,
important
pol-
point.
the politicians have spoken, let's allow the others now to speak just a little bit. Radhika and Abhas and Rahul, who I hope can hear us now. Radhika, the political impact is unclear. The media may say, or the BJP is making Rahul Gandhi a political martyr, but we do not know the mood of the street. Unless there is widespread public interest in what happens to Rahul Gandhi as a parliamentarian, I don't actually necessarily see the obvious political gain. Do you see a political gain to Mr. Gandhi being embroiled in this controversy?
I think somebody spoke about the Congress, the BJP being rattled. I don't think. I think this whole business of keeping Rahul at the center stage as a centerpiece of their campaign is to demonize him further, because the Pappu narrative, I think, has lost its potency, if I may say so, with the Bharat Jodo Yatra and Rahul's kind of image makeover. I wouldn't say entirely, yes, but it is important for the BJP to make the 2024 election Modi versus Rahul combat. And how does it do it? It has to keep the anti-Rahul narrative very much alive. It has to look for issues, for ways of doing it, and I think this has come in quite handy. It
Yeah,
is for the BJP. It
yeah.
started after the Bharat Jodo Yatra, when he went to the UK and addressed a series of meetings, had interactions. So that kind of added to the BJP's
And, I,
anti.
and in my opinion, he just handed over an issue to the BJP with his UK speeches. I mean, that it didn't gain him anything. It didn't get him any political advantage,
Yeah,
Radhika.
yeah. I mean, probably unwittingly, he handed over an issue on a platter to the BJP, And then came this defamation. Now, okay, I think Sanjay Jha is very right when he says that there is really no Modi Samaj. Nirav Modi is a Jain, or Lalit Modi is a Bania, and Narendra
Hmm.
Modi, of course, is an MBC. So to lump them together as part of a big Modi Samaj is completely flawed. It's wrong. But
Hmm.
in the public perception, Narendra Modi still commands so much credibility that people are going to buy this narrative. Of course, Barkha, we will know only when the Karnataka result is out. I think the
And we may
Karnataka.
not, and Radhika, we may not know even then because polls suggest somewhat of a decent showing by the Congress in Karnataka. And we don't know whether we can link it back to this issue, link it back to Bharat Jodo,
Sure.
if it's about Siddaramaia's sort of popularity. We have no idea. Or the BJP's factionalism, the
Yeah.
Yediyurappa, there's so many factors there. I just want to bring in Abhas and Rahul Dev quickly. Abhas, do go ahead. Do you think that what's happening is going to, do you think the BJP is in danger of overplaying its hand on Rahul? Let me ask you the reverse question.
No, Barkha, I certainly believe that whenever Congress has tried to get personal or try to get into this kind of game, they have always lost to the ground, whether it was the narrative of the Maut Ka Saudagar or Neech Aadmi and so on and on. We all know that these all have come through. So whenever these kind of personal attacks have happened against any of the BJP leaders or anyone related to them, somehow it has always backfired Congress. So I personally always believe that somehow the way the politics is heading as we really lack a very strong opposition, and a strong opposition is always very much needed for the democracy to run by. And the kind of irresponsible acts what Rahul Gandhi has been doing, I stated very responsibly that he's doing irresponsible acts because he was in fact reminded of what he is doing back in his trip by a Congress supporter that whenever the people went outside from the Congress, they never tried to defame media. So it
Hmm.
was coming from the mouth of a Congress supporter itself.
But do
Now,
you think his disqualifying him could actually end up having, irrespective of what you think of his politics, do you think disqualifying him could actually make him play the role of a martyr? कि ये देखिए ये सब मेरे पीछे है.
See, the point is that the land is always governed by the rule of the land, and rule of the land decides what it has to be. Whether it was Narendra Modi facing the trial or whomsoever it may be, no one can
Hmm.
be above the law. Whatever the sentiment of the people may be, it's yours
Hmm.
or mine. The rule of the land shall always be the winner. So there is nothing more to add to it. Even if the court sees that he needs to be disqualified and the matter needs to go as that, then no one can have a say on it. Perhaps no one should have a say on it that way.
Yeah. So Rahul Dev, here's the problem for the Congress. The BJP will keep saying, ये तो कोर्ट का फैसला है, ये कोर्ट का फैसला है, ये कोर्ट का फैसला है, and the Congress will keep, will allege otherwise. But it cannot really take that allegation very far without insinuating that the courts are compromised. So it is in a bind here because the Surat court is not going to be the only court that issues summons to Mr. Gandhi. Rahulji, how do you see your namesake and the consequence it will have on him?
There are several things that or that seem to be happening at the same time. As everyone knows, there are no single causes or no single results. One thing is that Rahul Gandhi is occupying a bigger mind space in the country, and this will accrue some additional sympathy towards him. But at the same time, we all know, and I agree with my friends here, that it's not a rattled BJP, but a very settled BJP, settled in its strategy of keeping the focus on Rahul and discrediting him as much as possible. And he has added to his own problems by his statements in UK, and I was present in one of them when he met the press. So he could have avoided saying some certain things, and it has given handle to the opposition, his opposition, that is the BJP.
Yes.
Now, even if this was not so, the gap between the Congress and the BJP, the gap between the combined, even if it happens, combined opposition and the BJP, and the gap between Rahul Gandhi's personally, and Narendra Modi's personally are too big to be bridged by any of these things. And for Rahul Gandhi, he needs a very he faces a long battle ahead. Even if he goes to, he loses his membership of Lok Sabha, he goes to prison for 2 years, he may gain some sympathy, become a martyr. But that martyrdom alone, I'm afraid, is not going to bridge this gap I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's a very important point because, I was just thinking, I mean, I'm not comparing them apples to apples, but Navjot Singh Sidhu of the Congress just came out of jail after 1 year. And the fact is that politics is a ruthless world. Out of sight can also mean out of mind. Now, I want to go back to Gopalji because the Prime Minister made a very, it's not the first time he suggested that there's an ecosystem, quote unquote, out to get him. But he spoke about कि कुछ लोग हैं जो सुपारी निकाले हुए हैं to discredit me. And at a time when the Congress is attacking the Prime Minister personally after this disqualification, even Arvind Kejriwal is. How do we join the dots? Let's listen into the Prime Minister's statement.
हमारे देश में कुछ लोग हैं जो 2014 के बाद से ही ये ठान कर बैठे हैं और पब्लिकली बोले भी हैं और उन्होंने अपना संकल्प घोषित किया है। क्या किया है? उन्होंने अपना संकल्प घोषित किया है, हम मोदी की छवि को धूमिल करके रहेंगे। इसके लिए इन लोगों ने भांति भांति के लोगों को सुपारी दे रखी है और खुद भी मोर्चा संभाले हुए हैं। इन लोगों का साथ देने के लिए कुछ लोग देश के भीतर है और कुछ देश के बाहर भी बैठकर अपना काम कर रहे हैं।
Gopalji, what does the Prime Minister mean and who is he talking about? Today we saw a statement from Kapil Sibal, opposition leader, saying जिन लोगों ने सुपारी निकाली है उनको prosecute करिए, बताइए हमें कौन है ये लोग? What does the Prime Minister mean, Gopalji?
Barkha ji, we have to understand 2-3 things. If you have to go into the global diplomatic issues and the global politics, you will find that no country wants other any power getting out of their own ambit. And if you look into the current scenario, India is becoming a dominant country globally. And that is because of one of the important factors that India is getting the traction at the global level is because we are gaining on economic front. The post-COVID, the way we have dealt with the COVID and the post-COVID economy, vaccination, or a Russian-Ukraine crisis on oil, or other issues, our confrontation with China, the world finds that India, under the leadership of Narendra Modi, is coming out to be a strong, decisive leadership nation, which is poised, which is in itself, it will become global leader or not is a different thing. But at present, there is a conviction in the country and there is a strong willpower aspiration that India by 2047 will be a global leader. We will reach there or not, anybody can dispute. But at present, there is a desire and aspiration from the people that India will be a global power. India will be an economic power. Economic activity will move towards India. And therefore, investment is coming. People have global countries, whether it is G20 or United Nations Security Council.
How does that link to the Supari?
The reason is that this is because we have a strong leadership in Narendra Modi, who is a nationalist, who has the willpower, and he has shown the courage to confront global powers. There is a marked difference. This is our feeling. You may disagree, but globally, there is a big narration on this line. Separately, on the second time, global diplomacy says that India, they want to undermine India and control India's And if you look into the Washington Post, all other global, many of the newspapers, etc., there is a nexus which undermines India's any achievement. So
let me
this narration, this kind of dual conflict between different global issues, India's interest, everything.
Got it.
Is what Prime Minister is undermining, that the people,
So let me bring in
there is a
reactions
global
to
force
that.
which doesn't want India to be a strong nation, and their interest lies in keeping India a weak nation.
Let me bring in
So
Sanjay
that
Jha
is-
now. Yeah, got it, sir. Let me bring in reactions to what you've said. I think it's quite clear the narrative with which the BJP, one of the narratives with which the BJP is going to go into the elections. And honestly, Sanjay, the question for you is somewhat different. The question is, the Congress has made Adani and the links you allege between Gautam Adani and the government almost a single point issue like you did with Rafale. That did not yield you any political results. Secondly, Arvind Kejriwal, who used to avoid targeting the Prime Minister, is now targeting him for not being educated, quote unquote, despite, I think he'll be the next person probably to get sued in a defamation case. What is this not poor politics to target personally a highly popular leader? Don't you need a better strategy?
Barkha, I made some talking points where the other panelists spoke, and I will probably be very, very quick in giving you an answer to your question as well as the what the others said. I won't take very long. Point number one, the narrative in this conversation today seems to be as if Rahul Gandhi has been indicted, he's convicted, he made a defamatory speech, and he's now political oblivion. Ladies and gentlemen, take a deep breath. Just imagine for a moment. Take a deep breath. Visualize this. When the verdict comes in his favor, imagine the fallout. Imagine what Narendra Modi will look like. Point number two.
Why will Narendra Modi look like anything? One court convicted him, the other court you think will give him a
Abhishek has elaborated in his press conference on day one what the Congress believes about the entire verdict. I don't need to repeat it. But I want to tell everyone here, underestimating Rahul Gandhi is India's national sport. And I heard a lot of this yada yada. Rahul Gandhi is somebody like the BJP wants to put up because it's good. Almost practically everybody said it. I always believe, as a political student and as a politician, there is nothing better than your opponent actually underestimating your capability. I love it. I love it. And I do believe we should watch and wait how the events play out. Now, very quickly, to Gopal Krishna Agarwal, every time you speak of an emergency, Gopalji, I will tell you that lasted 21 months. ये तो 108 महीने हो चुके हैं unofficial emergency का.
How can you compare the two? How can you
Sanjay ji, मैं 370 के ऊपर भी बोलना चाहता था. How unconstitutional it was.
Gopalji, I didn't interrupt you. Barkha, you didn't interrupt him. Let me wrap up. Okay. 108 months of an unofficial emergency. India's institutions are dead. The Supreme Court called this government impotent. That is the standard of governance under Mr. Narendra Modi. Now, a very quick point here. All those who were rubbishing Rahul Gandhi, even Radhika said his brand has now been resurrected after Bharat Jodo Yatra. Well, you got to make up your mind. If his Bharat Jodo Yatra brand has been resurrected and he is becoming a formidable threat, why would the BJP play him up?
I let Radhika respond to that, but I have one.
My last line.
I have a question for you. You are also playing it both ways. एक तरफ आप कहते हैं that India's institutions are dead. दूसरी तरफ आप कहते हैं कि you wait and see what happens when the court gives him justice. The point is you can't say both of these things.
You can.
If you win in Karnataka, if your party wins in Karnataka, will you say India's democracy is dead?
Well, I'll tell you, I'm glad you asked me that question, Barkha. The truth is, the way India is today, both the things are correct. Have you heard what the Supreme Court of India itself has called out on the lower judiciary of India? This is not me, by the way. This is the Supreme Court of India.
Okay.
These are Chief Justices, right? Which is why we talked about the Supreme Court being the final arbiter of justice. Now, my last point, and I wrap up here. After that, I'm done. If anyone here believes, and I say so with full responsibility, that the Gautam Adani issue is a cipher, is just another event, I'm sorry we're mistaken, ladies and gentlemen. This has led to a bloodbath in the markets. Nobody can write this off. And most importantly, BJP has united the opposition, is galvanized the Congress, and Mr. Modi can talk about Supari, etc., but it's pathetic when a Prime Minister has to use such coarse, vulgar and crude language to play the victim card. It makes him look so weak.
Can I come in now?
The 56-inch ki chhati ka's muscles have become weak. He needs a protein shake.
Can I come in? I'm sure Gopalji will have a lot to say to you, and I'll give him that say. But Radhika, Rahul, and Abhas have been waiting, so I'll start with you, Radhika. Are we underestimating, as Sanjay Jha suggests, Rahul Gandhi? The point is, the only thing that speaks in the end is the vote of the people. You're as good, or as, like in journalism, they say you're as good as your last story. In politics, you're as good or bad as the last election you can win. That's the bottom line. Radhika.
Absolutely. Priyanka Gandhi recognized that, because I think after this whole Rahul was disqualified, she said that, we have to win the election in Karnataka before thinking of anything else. So I think she recognized that. And I didn't say that the Bharat Jodo Yatra has resurrected Rahul. I merely said that it has blunted the Pappu narrative considerably. So the BJP, in order to kind of rev its whole anti-Rahul campaign, had to go look for another issue to diss him. So all that they are doing is dissing Rahul. Now, whether that helps or not, I don't know. But they have done it in the past. It also helps them to hide their own infirmities in governance. That is very important. I mean,
Yeah.
whether it is in Karnataka or at the center, they do not talk about their government, the so-called achievements which the BJP is very good at trumpeting. You don't hear of that either in Karnataka or in the center. Modi has made it all about himself, using language like Supari, and which is unbecoming of.
Let me bring in Abhas and Rahul Dev on that, and then Gopalji and Sanjay can have the quick class political words. Abhas, keeping Rahul Gandhi in the news is a double-edged sword. And I agree with everybody who has said the BJP isn't doing it because it's rattled. The BJP is doing it very mindfully. The BJP doesn't do things accidentally. I don't think it's that kind of party. Do you think they're overdoing it? Do you think there's a danger of overdoing it? I'll tell you, just the number of shows that have happened on Rahul Gandhi in this disqualification is an example. Do you think that there is a risk that there's too much of Rahul Gandhi in the news?
I personally believe that it won't cause that much problem as people may project it to be, because the fact of the matter is that, like, if we start picking the clue from what Narendra Modi ji said, that use the term like Supari and how he addressed the thing. Now we have to understand that politics is always about action, reaction, reaction, and reaction. So right now the sentiment is completely in close alliance with Narendra Modi, and they still see him as a leader. And even if he's using the kind of sentiment what he reflected upon the stage, maybe that it may not would go well with other leader, but it will go very well, because people would still see a lot of connectivity with him that way, that something has been done against Modi and something is happening, even if that may not be that true or something, because politics is all about the perception, how you set the things right or wrong. Ultimately, yes, as far as Rahul Gandhi is concerned, I at times do believe that there's a bit of overdoing of it. It may not be needed. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's politics, and everyone tries to play the best with toys they have.
All is fair in love, war, and politics. Rahul Dev, that's my question for you. Actually, Abhas makes an interesting point. The Prime Minister has always worked quite well with this idea that there is a section, whether of liberal elite, of media elite, of diaspora elite, that doesn't like him, that is biased, and when needed, he's able to play that narrative to his political advantage. Were you surprised to hear him use that phrase of Supari?
Yes, I was, and I remain so. I think for arguably the most powerful prime minister the country has seen in a long time, to talk in terms of in a language that displays or that shows that there is some insecurity, that he's playing victim, which is the greatest surprise to me. Supari is part of that whole sort of image he's trying to build, which is really unbecoming. We have a very interesting scenario here. At one time, my friend Gopalji was saying, the entire the developed world seems to be afraid of India's rise and is trying to keep it down. At the same time, Modi ji goes out and he makes great friends and great show of great friendship with all these same world powers. One little reaction from a spokesman of the government of America, one little reaction, a slightly negative reaction from Germany, and it becomes a global conspiracy against India. I mean, this
But maybe they don't really believe it, but they're playing a political hand. They're playing a political hand, clearly. That's what politicians do. I don't think anyone
Yes,
in the government
exactly.
really, they're playing a political hand.
And then, hold on. And this reminds me of what Indira Gandhi used to say.
Of
So,
course. Indira
exactly.
Gandhi in the 1970s came up with the
Right.
foreign hand. It wasn't the BJP.
Yes. So
Right?
this is not on. Frankly, it is very amazing. But the
Okay.
basic fact remains that ultimately people will decide. So
Yeah.
for both the parties, the test is going to be Karnataka results, and that will decide what happens next.
I'm not even
So then
sure.
this-
I'm not, as Rahulji, with respect, I wonder if Karnataka will also give us a clue because it's such a localized election with so many local factors. Okay, so many hands going up. I want to bring in Gopalji and then Radhika and Abhas can respond and then
It all
Sanjay.
adds to the overall narrative.
Yes, sure.
Every
Gopalji.
state, it adds to the overall narrative,
Sure.
and
Sure.
it affects the dynamics thereon.
Sure. Gopalji, please, quickly. We have just 5
Barkha ji,
minutes
I
left.
would
of the
like
show.
to say
Yeah.
only 2-3 points very briefly. One thing
Yeah.
is, I never said the world is afraid of India. Their interest lies that India should not be a strong nation. That is what I said. Their interest will never lie that India should have a strong leadership and which will take priority of in national interest above the global considerations. And I given several examples. Everybody knows whether it was Russian, Ukraine, or China, everything, or dealing with Pakistan, surgical strike, everything. There is a marked difference which the global leaders at present, or even in Kashmir, global leaders would not have accepted this as an India's stand. But
Okay.
we have done it and we are moving ahead. That's one thing. Their interest does not lie in this. Second point that I would like to underline is there are two issues for which are very core to our politics and our interests. One is nationalism, another is governance, Antyodaya. Strong nationalism is what we are fighting all elections are, whether it is identity, Ram Mandir, 370, strong borders, securities, nationalism. Yeah, all these things are part of our strong nationalism. So we will stand by anybody trying to hurt on any this point. BJP the whole team starts that keep countering that narrative, and
Okay.
this is our politics and our core ideological commitment that we run for. And second is governance, good governance, fighting corruption, good delivery, Antyodaya. So these are the two agenda. What Congress and other leaders are trying to do is from other they are not talking on these issues. So whenever the issues come which are other than these issues, we are countering them. We want the narrative to be on this,
Okay.
the efficiency of governance, the delivery of the government, corruption-free ecosystem, and
I
strong
think
nationalism.
I think to
So
be
we are
quite
taking the narrative on these two issues, and that narrative we want to continue. And I don't think Karnataka only will decide what will be the 2024. Every election, this same thing, same story is built up. We fight every panchayat. Even UP is having now local bodies election. You see how much energy we'll put on that.
No, I actually agree that whichever way Karnataka goes, I'm not sure it tells us very much about 24, but I'm sure there are varied opinions on that. Quickly, we have literally a minute left, so I'm going to give 30 seconds each to everybody. Radhika, go ahead, then Abbas, then Sanjay.
Yeah, we are talking about Modi playing the victim card and his projected image as the 56-inch ki chati leader. But I would say that Modi has always gained from playing the victim, whether it is Maut Ka Saudagar, whether it was the pile-up against him in 2002 for Godra, and what happened later, whether it was Chowkidar or Chaiwala. I think he is at his best when he plays the victim. It's a bizarre situation On
It's
the one hand, you have
paradoxical. It's
a
paradoxical. is what it-
paradoxical situation. Yeah, it
Yeah.
is a paradoxical
Yeah,
situation.
I agree with you. I actually think that there's a clever mix of a strongman politics with othering. That I want to be strong for India, but there's a whole section of people who are against me. We'll have to see how it plays out. Abhas, quickly, Abhas, can we unmute Abhas, please? Sorry, give us a second. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, because this term was again used because the Maut ka Saudagar is almost synonymous, very much goes with the term the term what Narendra Modi used today. So it also had come from a very esteemed office. So politics is all about all kinds of words. So I don't believe that Modi is playing any kind of victim card or something. I particularly said that it's about using the emotion. And historically, we have seen that kings and the people, whoever they were, they have used the sentiment of the people in the right direction. And politics is all about playing the ploy for the betterment of the people, whichever way it may comes to. It's about reaching to the sentiment. It may come through any medium. Yeah.
In the end, it's about telling a good story, actually, and communicating. It's not only about that, but it's also about telling a good story. Sanjay Jha, very quickly, in the last election, the Chaukidar Chor Hai slogan, there's now enough literature that there was a section of the Congress that believed that that was a mistake. Is the opposition in danger of making the same mistake? You need to run a campaign that's about you, not a campaign that's against the present government, because the present government is headed by a really popular leader.
Well, even popular leaders have feet of clay, Barkha. I think, this supposition that just because some things have worked for Narendra Modi in the past, that they will work for him in the future, is making a very facile, shall we say, assumption. Let me make two short points and then we are done here. Number one, I mean, since I've been part of the banking world, I can tell you, the UPA loses an election on notional losses and everybody said is corrupt. And Adani, which is like 25 times or 100 times bigger than those allegations, and which, by the way, the stock markets have proved to be a reality. When Mr. Modi is trying to dodge a JPC, that's why he's playing the victim card, because the Adani matter has now stuck into the public imagination. And the second point is on corruption. You see, Mr. Modi is following the old playbook. Attack is the best form of defense. If you heard him the other day, he said, Bhrashtachar is going to be a big issue because he realizes that if he doesn't do that, he's going to sink and with him the BJP. But the truth is, look at Karnataka. Look at Karnataka. I will tell you, I was in Bangalore some time back. I'm going there again in a few days. In Karnataka, I'm not exaggerating, Barkha. I can tell you everyone from the owner of a mall down to a taxi driver of Uber says there is this 40% commission in WhatsApp jokes is now called as Karnataka High Commission, because of the way they have plundered and looted the state. So Mr. Modi's credibility today is being challenged at a national level on Adani. And I think the BJP's defeat in Karnataka could just provide a momentum to the opposition for 2020.
Okay. The jury remains out whether Karnataka gives us a clue to 24, whether it changes the narrative, whether it helps the opposition puncture the government narrative. We don't know. The answer is quite simply, we do not yet know. We also do not know which way Rahul Gandhi's cases are going to go. If this prolongs into some long legal battle, will people remain interested? Will people switch off? Too many imponderables there, but we say thank you for now to Sanjay Jha, Gopal Krishna Agarwal, to Abhas ji, Radhika ji, and to Rahul ji. Thank you. And to our audience, thank you for watching. See you tomorrow. It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo Story and support independent, robust journalism.